Iran ceasefire deteriorating, you know that I've been talking about this for a long time. The only way these savages can be defeated is to go in and make sure they're all gone. All right. So there will have to be boots on the ground. They will have to be removed. Right. As long as they're there, they're going to be, because savages do what savages do. All right. So, and we used to call them this, right? And not all of the Middle Easterners, of course, but the ones that were savages. So what is a savage? It's an adjective, not domesticated or cultivated, wild, not civilized, barbaric, very, very fitting, vicious or merciless, brutal. So why did Trump not do the strike yesterday? Well, because they were saying that they were going to surround the targets with human shields, right? So Trump had to find some kind of excuse not to do that, blow up innocent people. So he was like, oh, we've made a deal with them. All right. Last minute, they decided they were going to do this. And maybe there was something to that. I believe there probably was. And because they're savages and they want to make you believe whatever you want to believe so they can get a little bit of an edge. And they feel that if they can get a little bit of an edge, they can kill more people, right? Because they're savages, right? And savages are not just in Iran. They're also in Beirut. They're also in Lebanon, in Palestine, in Iraq, right? Where I spent a lot of time in Iraq, and there were Iranian-backed savages there. Soleimani was the general, and he was killed by Trump in Iraq, right? So Iraq fomented, after we went in and liberated Iraq from Saddam Hussein, the Iranians started a civil war, right? And with help of the deep state, of course, because Iran is basically deep state. Now, one of the things that President Trump said was that, 47 years of, vicious control and so forth is going to come to an end. He was talking about last night, 8 o'clock Eastern time, but which is 8 o'clock Eastern time now. Did they start bombing Iran now? So the next day, no, we're not going to bomb them because they're we made a deal and they're opening up the Strait of Hormuz. Well, they shut it down. So if that's the case, that we're not going to bomb them because they opened the Strait of Hormuz then the bombing should start, right? And perhaps the bombing will start later, right? Because it was better to wait another day to catch them off guard, or 2 days, or 3 days. The weekend always seems to be a good time to do this so that the markets can, not get hammered, right? Because people have a lot of money in the market, right? So the market goes down, people get a little antsy. So that's not what we want. So we'll probably see the strikes happen at some point, guys. Like I told you, you're dealing with savages, right? They're not going to deal, right? And the only way they deal is because they feel that there's an edge, and they're going to keep their strikes up. The only way to take out savages is to physically take them out, right? And that's the same around the world, whether it's in the U.S. Hello, right? So let's look at some savages now. I have talked about how, a lot of places in the Middle East, they have disregarded the feminine aspect, which is definitely going on in Iran. But the savages have savage women, and savage women make things even more savage, right? So let's look at some savage women that have come to America, right? And we have from the Middle East and from other areas, savage women that are doing savage things that need to be deported, right? Along with the savage men that are with them, right? It's very simple. It's very simple. And of course, again, I'm not talking about everyone that's Middle Eastern, right? So let's look at some savage women, all right, that are have been picked up, I guess, by ICE and are getting ready to be deported.
Commander who was killed during President Trump's first term are now in federal custody.
So this is the wife, I guess, and the daughter of Soleimani, or maybe it's his daughter and the daughter's daughter. I'm not quite sure, but savage women, man. You're going to find out.
Facing possible deportation. This after Secretary of State Marco Rubio revoked their green cards. The niece of the late General Soleimani is known as a regime apologist who promoted the IRGC, even while she and her daughter lived a very luxurious Western lifestyle. Joining us now.
All right, so here you see they're scantily clothed, and they have like a TikTok, they're TikTok performers or whatever. So they have a TikTok, channel, and they get a lot of views. Now, they're from the IRGC, of course, grandniece of General Soleimani, who was killing Americans, right? That's why we killed him. He was a savage. So here are savage women from a savage man, all right? So when you see people like this, you're not going to have sympathy for them, because what are they doing? They're coming to America scantily clad, and showing themselves everywhere. If a hair gets out from under a burqa in Iran, and they have done this, they will beat a woman to death on the streets. And these women are from that group that does that. And they're being paid to live here in America. They're getting money.
Sheila Nazarian, she fled Iran as a child. She's now a plastic surgeon. She joins us now. And Sheila, as we were saying, this is pretty stressful times. I want to read to you this headline from an Arab news article saying that the U.S. arrest of slain IRGC commander's kin lays bare scandalous double standards as Iran continues crackdown on women's freedoms. Images of the two women living lavishly in LA spark anger online. Have you heard the same?
Absolutely, Dana. These women are posting in bikinis on yachts. They are wearing V-neck dresses down to their belly buttons. They are wannabe Instagram influencers, all on the blood money that was embezzled, stolen from the Iranian people. And there's thousands of them, Dana, not just two. There's thousands in the US and Canada and in London. And they are such hypocrites. You can show a few strands of hair in Iran, get 74 lashes. I've seen women kicked to the ground, kicked in their heads while on the ground for violating the hijab policy in Iran. Women have been raped. Women have been killed for showing their hair. Much less these women showing, like, if you look at their Instagram, it's infuriating. They're on yachts, they're on helicopters, they're shopping on Rodeo Drive, half naked. And it's almost like, rules for thee, but not for me in full display.
Sheila, the Department of Homeland Security said this about her, that her trips to Iran illustrate her asylum claims were fraudulent. If we have reason to believe a green card holder poses a threat to the U.S., the green card will be revoked. It's interesting that she would try to claim asylum.
All right. So to add to this, she has said that America is the devil, right? And that we should be destroyed. Yet here she comes over and over again. She goes back to Iran, gets her money dump or whatever, and then comes back to America, lives in LA, where it's like everybody that hates America lives in LA, it seems like, right? So not everybody in LA, of course, but a lot of people that go to LA hate America. It's like come to LA, you can hate America, and we'll make you a movie star, right? So this is what's going on. These savages, because they were saying they needed asylum. So they're working our laws, and if they get found under the Trump administration, they're going to get deported. So they are against America, openly against America, and you know, they're going to go. They're going to go back to Iran, and I don't know. It seems like at some point, Iran is going to go back to the people, right? Because these savages that are running Iran, I'm telling you, they're going to be removed, right? And when the people come back, and these little savage girls, ladies are still there, oh, buddy, it's not going to be good.
We see that all the time, unfortunately, Dana, not just with these Iranian, elites' daughters, but we see it in the Somali community as well. My family claimed asylum and came here in 1986, and we have never returned because if we do, we will get killed. Meanwhile, you see these Iranians or these Somalis vacation in the country that they're claiming asylum from. That is not a real asylum claim. If they were really afraid for their lives, they would not be vacationing in their home countries.
We just had Brett Baer on, and he had spoken to President Trump just a few moments ago. And it looks like this 8 p.m. deadline, it's a very serious one. And I'm wondering if you could give us some perspective about how you and your family are thinking about this moment.
Yeah, and I want to, address the 2 French prisoners that were released. Perhaps that wasn't a good faith thing. Perhaps that was because France denied Israeli airspace to transport U.S. weapons, and that was the deal they made with Iran. Dana, there is no good faith negotiations with this regime. This regime has shown for 47 years that they use negotiations as a stall tactic, as a delay tactic. All
right, so we've been dealing with this, and we can say it's the very negative Iranian regime. But is it really? Yes, on one level it is, but on another level, it's also the city of London, all right? So the city of London has puppeted these people into those positions of power, guys, right? You can look back in history. It was MI6 that deposed the prime minister of Iran, and then the Shah came in. They supported him, and then they supported the Khomeini, and they had a little revolution. Now we're talking about these people, these savage people that come here from Iran. Now the 444 days we had hostages in Iran, and there was like this one woman, they called her Screaming Mary. So Screaming Mary, later, she was one of the revolutionary students that was, part of, taking over our embassy, and on a daily basis in the press, she would be screaming, saying that if she was allowed, she would shoot the hostages. Her son is, because remember, she was corrupted in the universities in Iran. Her son is living, I think, in LA. I don't know, maybe he's living in America somewhere. And he's a professor. He needs to go. So he's teaching our children, all right, our students in university to hate. And that's probably why, they're all living in LA, guys. It's Democrat hellhole, right? So we're starting to see this now. I've had guests on. Sheila Holm has talked about this. She talked about how there was a lot of Iranians that came, after the Shah fell during the time frame, and they came to San Diego, but they took over like housing that was supposed to be for underprivileged people. They took it over. So this is not something new. This has been ongoing for a long time. Now it's getting exposed. All of the fraud that has been accumulating in America over time is being exposed. Maybe we'll have Sheila come back on and talk a little bit more in depth about this, but this is something that she's mentioned before in the past, right? So it is yeah, minions of the Crown Corp. Yep, absolutely. And as POTUS says, shitholes. Right? So that's right, Sully. So these are shitholes in America, right? And they're very similar to the shitholes that are in the Middle East because they have the same mindset. Same mindset, guys. It's very, very, very frustrating for someone that's seen this overseas. And now I see the enemy within, right? See the enemy within. So Canada, same thing. Come to Canada. No, don't go to Canada. No. Somebody's joking there, I hope. It's because Canada is worse than America and almost as bad, if not worse, in some places than the Middle East. All right, so now I've said that I believe that there is a moon. All right, have memories, secret space program, and all kind of crazy stuff. So I have memories of being inside that object. That's the moon. It has a outer core that has lots of moon craters on it. It's not a real thing. It was manufactured, and inside it's hollow, and there's other civilizations in there. We have reached evidently a level where they're allowing us to see the dark side of the moon now, right? So the Artemis 2 that went around the moon, fantastic pictures are coming through. I told everybody, I said, I know a lot of you guys are doubters about the moon landings and so forth. I think that was disinformation recently that came out that said that it was all staged. I think they did have some staged events in case, you know, there were some problems where maybe the astronauts got into some problems, whatever, right? So a lot of people, you know, make comments about this over the years. Maybe some of them weren't real, some of them were. I don't know, but I have complete faith there is a moon, and we just flew around it, and we just had some really good pictures that came back from it. So I know a lot of people make comments. You know, they have a strong belief in one area, so that it's not. I'm open-minded, guys. I just look at everything, but I believe, you know, that it is real, right? So we'll find out. All right, so let's look at some of these pictures.
Here we see the moon as taken from the Orion spacecraft on its approach to the lunar flyby. This is a first quarter moon, and sunlight is coming in from the right side. Also, to the bottom right edge of the moon, we can see the Oriental Basin with this large black patch of ancient lava in its center. This Oriental Basin is a 600-mile wide impact crater ringed by mountains. So this is a big impact that the moon once had. Now we see the resultant feature of that. And here is a gorgeous photo of the moon and of the Earth from later in the lunar flyby mission. We see the waxing crescent moon clearly visible, and then to the right, just about to set below the horizon, a tiny crescent Earth. Just wonderful. And here is another incredible image of the moon taken by the Artemis 2 crew. And we really see that 600-mile wide impact crater Oriental Basin right there, roughly in the center of the moon to the south.
All right, so in some of these shots, you're seeing some stars. In some of them, you're not. Now, the reason why in some of them you're not is because if you go outside, if I went outside right now and looked up and didn't see any stars, that's because there's a lot of light out there, right? Now, when that sun goes down, I'll be able to see the stars. So on the dark side of the moon, they're able to see some of the stars, but still, there's a lot of light coming from the sun.
And here we can even see the different rings of the Oriental Basin, one of the moon's youngest and best preserved large impact craters. It is a quite dominant feature. You also see the other numerous impact craters littered across the surface. Again, because the moon effectively has no atmosphere, there's no wind or any sort of atmospheric phenomenon to disturb the features and to erode them over time. The only thing that would do that would be moonquakes. And the moon doesn't have moonquakes all that often. So we really see that the moon had a very dynamic past, and it's still dynamic to this day. There are some reports that the astronauts actually saw some impact flashes during their lunar flyby. And here we see an incredibly detailed image of the surface of the moon showing all the different impact events, the different sizes, ages, and more. And of course, you see the Earth there setting below the horizon of the moon.
So the surface of the moon is basically, it is made from like rock, and it's manufactured. It can be, created and, made round like it is. You see right there, round, not flat. Right. So as you're seeing in this picture, right, you're looking at the Earth. It looks round, doesn't it? Right. There's more to the Earth. We'll probably find that out. There's probably more to the flat and the round and the different atmospheres and so forth. But here you see craters on the pretty much lifeless, created. I'm not going to say it's human created, but it was created by beings. And it's basically a satellite that was put into Earth's orbit to keep the Earth from losing its oceans and so forth. This happened during a solar, not a solar, but our solar system. There was a war in our solar system. We have kind of like what we've seen in Star Wars, where a planet killer came in and blasted one of our planets, and that's why we have the asteroid belt. So we got hit as well, and the moon was moved in to basically make sure that we didn't lose all of our atmosphere, right? So those are my thoughts on it, and agree with it or not, just be observant. Some of these things will play out, I think, in the future.
So this is an Earth set, something that you would probably see should you spend any length of time on the moon traversing across the surface. So maybe in 50 years when there's space tourism, this is a site that you could see yourselves. And one thing to note here is that you see the Earth, you see the moon, you don't see any stars. Well, why is that? Let's explain. Let's discuss why we're not seeing any stars in some of these photos. There should be stars in space, and of course there are. Why aren't we seeing them? This is a question that people have asked going,
all right, so a lot of people have jumped on this already and said, see, blah, blah, blah. All right, so now it's going to get explained.
All the way back to the Apollo missions, there's still a lot of debate, you could say, around this, but it's a pretty simple explanation. So here we see a photo of the moon and of space. We see that the exposure time on this is only 1/1000th of a second, so 1 millisecond. So the camera opened up its shutter and exposed the sensor to light from its environment for 1 millisecond. Well, in space, there is a lot of light if you're near a star. For example, Earth's orbit, where we are, we receive 1,362 watts per square meter of total solar irradiance. This is all the wavelengths, all the frequencies of light being emitted by the sun. And well, the moon is right in Earth's orbit, so it's receiving effectively the same amount all the time, just like we are. The majority of light from the sun, the light output, photonic output, photons, quanta of light, is ultraviolet, optical, and infrared. Optical is what we see. So there's a lot of visible light in our space environment. On Earth, we, of course, have daylight, which is when that visible light is hitting the planet. You also have the dark side of the Earth, where it's nighttime. There's always half the Earth in darkness. So that is where there's no light from the sun coming in, unless it's being reflected by the moon or Venus or Jupiter or whatever. And so during a full moon, you will get quite a lot of light because it is reflecting that solar light back to the dark side of the Earth. But if it's a new moon where the sun and the moon are basically close together in the sky, you're just having darkness. So now that the light level from the sun is greatly reduced, because light photons move in exact straight lines, they don't bend or anything, right? Then you get darkness and you can see the stars. Of course, you're not seeing the stars during the day. Have you ever gone out and looked up and seen stars in the day sky? No. Now, of course, we have an atmosphere, but
stars in outer space?
Again, this is daylight conditions that they are operating under.
I wonder, do you still see stars in outer space?
Yeah, I was actually just talking to my crewmates about that today. I've definitely seen stars in outer space, and I was saying I haven't seen as many as I thought I would. So, Reed? We have so much illumination from the sun on the moon and the earth right now. It is hard at times to see stars. Just like when you walk out in the daytime, you see a blue sky but no stars. We look outside and we see the black space and no stars. But tonight we're going to be pointed into deep space, and we're going to turn out all the lights in the spacecraft for the first time on the mission. And if you give yourself about 20 or 30 minutes, we do this all the time on the International Space Station. Christina and I just have great fond memories of this. You'll start to see the stars, and if you give it enough time, you will see so many stars. It's hard to see the constellations because there are so many stars out there. And the coolest part of those stars is they do not twinkle at all. They are just perfect. They almost look just perfect pinpricks of light. So that is our homework for tonight, Jeremy. We are doing that. We'll take a picture.
All right. So there you go. There's lots to learn, guys. Soon, many of us are going to be out in space. Tourism space is coming. Not for you guys that are negative, though. You guys stay on Earth. And go ahead and make yourselves known now, because we're going to put you last on the list, right? No, I'm kidding. Whatever. Maybe your guys are going to be the first, or you can come back and say I was stupid and wrong, right? So whatever. All right, so let's talk more about disturbing news, because you guys know that I believe that the deep state is pushing us into another lockdown, and this one is an energy lockdown. It's already starting to manifest in a lot of places. I talked about it several days ago on a video, had lots and lots of views. So you guys you want to know, right? And I'm telling you, you want to know, because if we expose these bastardos, they can't get over on us, right? So we have to do that early, because we were late to the game, unfortunately, on the last one for COVID. I was watching it, and it was really before I had a big presence on YouTube, and then I was like, I saw it, and then I started. I got to talk about this every single day. So we weren't that ahead of it. Now we've been ahead of a lot of things, like the monkeypox and all that stuff. We dimed it out very early. It died right away. This is something that needs to get exposed. Now, even though we are exposing it, they can still push us into this. And I think it's almost every country but the United States is pushing this, guys. It's every country. They know what they're going to do, and they've been planning this, and they've been progressively pushing us in this direction for quite some time. All right, Trumpet. Thanks for that. Thanks for that super chat. Nice. Thank you. All right, so we're pushing into this lockdown, guys. It's already starting to manifest in some areas. Now listen to this one woman, Survival Lily from Germany. She's always been on this. She's front line on when these guys start to play their games, and she picks up on it really quick. Now watch what she says about Germany.
Germany. So now if you are a German citizen, if you are a male between 17 and 45 years old, and you want to leave Germany for more than 3 months, you need a special permission to do so.
So imagine that you're going to leave, you name the country, because I know people from all over the world watch this, but I'll just use America. Imagine you're going to leave America, and you're going to leave America for more than 3 months, and you're between 17 and 45 years old. That's the age of the military age, right? So if you're going to leave more than 3 months, they want to know. And it sounds like they're going to restrict that. What do they got planned? right? So we know they've been pushing, all of those European countries have been talking about getting ready for war with Russia, guys, right?
Persons who have reached the age of 17 must obtain permission from the responsible career center of the German Armed Forces if they wish to leave the Federal Republic of Germany for more than 3 months. Previously, this regulation only applied in crisis situations, meaning an increased external threat or an actual armed attack on the Federal Republic. So this is really concerning to hear. If I was a young German male, I would definitely think about leaving the country, because if laws are changed to a situation where you cannot leave anymore, then I'm really asking myself, what are they planning for Germany, right? So I'm not surprised that.
All right. So you have to stay big picture, guys. You can't just be in your own little world, in your own little town. You have to look at what's going on in the world, because that's going to give you an idea what might be coming for you in your country or the U.S., wherever, right? Because I've talked about what they get away with in Australia, and they're starting to get away with locking down Australia already, guys. And food is starting to run out and so forth. They could bring that here to America very, very quickly, right? That's their plan. So we have to be very much aware of what these guys are doing. You know, I've been teaching you guys for 6 years now how to watch these signs. If by chance I get locked out of, YouTube again, it's something you have to be aware of on your own. And even Rumble, there's stuff that I had on Rumble that has now been taken down. Even Rumble took down some stuff. So just be heads up. Something could very well be coming, and you never know, right? So things are going to heat up in the Middle East. They're already heating up, right? Trump came out with the ceasefire. And like I've been saying, I've been saying it for all this time, if they do a ceasefire, or agree to a ceasefire, it's so they can get themselves better positioned, right? Same thing with Ukraine, the Nazis in Ukraine, the Nazis in Iran. If they ask for a ceasefire, it's so they can better position themselves. Get more ammo, get better positions, dig in deeper, move supplies around, so forth. This is what Iran absolutely did with this ceasefire. Now, you might be thinking, well, how can Trump be so easily fooled? Don't think that we're not doing something too, guys. All right, we're not, getting better targeting, getting more supplies of ourselves, moving people in a position that could do the ground invasion, which is coming, and so forth. So just be, very, flexible in your thinking. Don't get stuck on, we have a ceasefire. Things are good. Look, Trump did it. He's a peacemaker. He's a peace dealer. You're dealing with savages. There's no peace with savages, guys. They have to be moved or eliminated, right? All right, so let's go a little bit deeper into this. It's already happening. It's been happening since the ceasefire. Saudi Arabia, UAE, Kuwait, Qatar, Bahrain report attacks after Iran-U.S. truce, right? So I'm going to show you guys some videos in a little bit, but let's go ahead and look at this article real quick. It'll start us down the road. It didn't last long. Several strikes reported across the Gulf region hours after the U.S. and Iran announced a ceasefire for 2 weeks. All right, several Gulf nations have reported missile and drone attacks on their territories. Now, I've heard a lot of the little people that just want they can't believe they can't believe there's war, right? And I'm not saying that. I think we're coming to the end of war. Remember, and some of you are like, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about." Well, what happened during the lockdowns? What happened during the COVID lockdown? Right? Basically, we don't need to do war because we got these people, these dumbasses, completely on what we want them. The only way we usually get them to do anything is to take them to war. Take us to war. They got a lot. Try it again. And that everybody needs. And you do, and girl, oil in it. And even in Germany, if you go deeper into Survival Lily's video that I was showing you guys, she talks about how they went in and they have like a coal mine, a large coal mine that could produce enough coal for all of Germany for 2 or 3 years. Just one coal mine. Guess what they did? They're flooding it. They're flooding it. So we know what they're doing, right? Remember the gas pipeline that came across from Russia that the Europeans and the U.S. blew up? That was back during Biden's time, of course. They blew it up and blamed it on like a Polish commercial diver, yeah, whatever. So that was part of this longer term plan, guys, to put everybody in this position where it's easy once the Strait of Hormuz is shut down to cause this lockdown that's coming. It's coming. It's a tsunami that's on the way. It's coming, right? So, and this is another reason why, because we're dealing with savages, and you guys in your European capitals have savages running the show. UAE's defense ministry said in a statement that the sounds of explosions heard in different areas across the country were caused by air defense systems intercepting ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and unmanned aerial vehicles. The air defenses are currently dealing with missiles and drones coming from Iran, the ministry said. So operations in Abu Dhabi gas complex were also temporarily suspended after a fire broke out due to falling debris. And Kuwait also said its air defenses were intercepting a wave of Iranian drones. Kuwait's defense ministry, same thing, air defense responded intense hostile Iranian attacks. Does this sound like someone that's in a ceasefire? Kuwaiti armed forces, it sounds like somebody's taking advantage of it. Kuwaiti armed forces intercepted a large number of drones, because that's what savages do, remember, right? Some of which targeted vital oil installations and power stations in the south of the country. Several material damage, severe material damage in Kuwait's Interior Ministry. Bahrain's ministry also reported alleged Iranian attacks, which injured 2 people. 2 citizens sustained minor injuries, houses blown up. Explosions were heard in Bahrain's capital, Manama. And in the morning, AFP News said its journalists saw smoke rising from Sitra Island, which hosts Bahrain's principal energy facilities. So they're hitting energy, and they're hitting water desalination plants. So now a lot of the Democrat idiots are screaming that Trump is going to go in and bomb their. It's like it's not right. It's against the Geneva Convention. Blah blah blah. Right. So yes, we're not targeting stuff for the people if we can help it. But now we're getting to the point where we have to destroy their energy infrastructure, because that's what they use to run these, drones and so forth, and keep these facilities going so they can attack the Middle East, our partners in the Middle East. All right, Gulf countries have faced repeated drone and missile barrages from Iran over recent weeks. So it's not anything new. Nothing's changed. These savages are going to continue to do what savages do, and that's kill others, right? And do very savage things and promote others to do savagery, just like those two knuckleheads, nieces of the Soleimani monster that was killing Americans with roadside bombings and so forth. So now let's look at Beirut, because Israel said, no, we're not going to bomb Iran, but we're going to go after Iran's little puppets, especially the ones in Beirut, which are, shooting missiles at us. So that's what they're doing. They've gone in and they started hammering Beirut 35 years. So those pictures would not come to America, but I think they might. In fact, I think they will, right? Unfortunately, because we have those savages here in America now. Biden let them in. And, well, they've been coming in for a long time. All right, so let's look at Iran bombed Saudi Arabia's oil, and aircraft's been shot down, all kind of crazy stuff. So, and it looks like UAE, United Arab Emirates, has gone in and bombed Iran. It's like, all right, we're in this war. If America's backing off, we're taking it to you. All right, so they went and bombed Iran because they got bombed. Hello, right? So the savagery comes to them. They're like, that's enough of this shit. We're going to take it to you guys too, right? So it's getting heated. It's starting to go to the next level, and this is part of the reveal that has to happen, guys.
Morning, we have news that Saudi Arabia's vital east-west oil pipeline carrying crude from the Gulf to the Red Sea for export has been attacked. Details are now indicating that it was hit with an Iranian drone, the Shahi drone. We believe it was a drone strike destroying part of the oil pipeline. Saudi Arabia's entire economy is linked to the oil industry. That's how they make money. That's how they enrich themselves. Iran now blowing up a critical oil pipeline, or part of the pipeline. It is a massive pipeline. They were likely blowing up one of the terminals, I would assume, at the loading and offloading points. But huge news. We're supposed to have a ceasefire. The U.S. hasn't dropped a single bomb since the ceasefire was announced. Yet we've got Iran is unloading, firing all over the place, blowing up critical infrastructure in Saudi Arabia. We've got Israel unloading as well. So we have all sides. Everyone's fighting still except the United States of America. I want to make that clear. We're the only ones who've taken a step back. We're the only ones who...
Well, not completely, because he revealed another one just shortly. Remember, I told you guys that when I was in Iraq, the Iranians were causing lots of problems all over the Middle East where you have savagery. It's from Iran, right? So we went in, United States, because we're still there in Iraq, and we blew the hell out of, there's an Iranian general that was in Iraq, and as you're going to see after this little clip, they went in and blasted the hell out of these terrorists that are getting ready to, foment devastation probably in Iraq, like they did in the past, from Iran. So it's on. It's game on almost everywhere now, and they have to be savages are going to savage until they get eliminated, guys.
Honoring the ceasefire, everyone else is cutting loose still. And on that point, the Kuwaitis, I'm going to put this on the screen right here. This is from an official Kuwaiti news outlet announcing their 3 power stations, so their energy infrastructure, and a water desalination plant has been attacked. So they are hitting water desalination and energy infrastructure in Kuwait. bombing whatever they can see, whatever they can hit. Again, this is today, April 8th. The ceasefire was announced on the night of April 6th.
All right. So again, remember, this has been the argument of the liberal idiots that say that Trump is going to bomb their desalination plants. Well, Trump has not done that, but they are doing it. Because savages are going to savage until they're savaged out, right? And that doesn't mean to get tired of it. It's because they're no longer alive.
Yesterday, and the attacks are not stopping. And now they are hitting bigger and bigger targets. So this situation is on the verge of, quite frankly, getting worse than what it was. And the the IRGC, who's now running the country of Iran, the most radical people in the country are running it. That's where we're at as of the ceasefire. Says it shot down an Israeli spy drone, a Hermes 900 over Fars province. The IRGC saying any U.S. or Israeli aircraft entering Iranian airspace, even without conducting operations, will be treated as a ceasefire violation. So Israel sent a drone into Iran. Iran blasted it out of the sky. Drones are way easier to shoot down than fighter jets due to the fact they fly low, they fly slow. Anyone with a man-pad or even a machine gun can bring one down. So an Israeli aircraft, an Israeli drone has been shot down at this hour. So according to the IRGC, and they shot down, to be fair, the United States has admitted, I believe they shot down at least 13 of our drones. We don't know how many Israeli drones they shot down. But again, all signs point to this situation heating up. All right. And then right here, it says Iran has told vessels, Strait of Hormuz update. Iran has told vessels attempting to transit the Strait of Hormuz that it is still closed, and any ship that attempts to transit will be targeted and destroyed, according to Reuters. Now, what is causing them to say they're going to do that? Iran is saying that as long as Israel continues its attacks on Lebanon, the Strait of Hormuz will remain closed. The entire point of the ceasefire was to get the Strait of Hormuz open. That was
all right. So the Strait of Hormuz is not open, guys. All right. They've closed it back down. I think they'll let a couple ships through, and just to show, hey, we're doing it to basically have a show so that they could do what savages do, right? They lie and they try and kill you. So this is where we're at. So at some point, we're going to unleash all hell on these savages, guys. All hell. And send them back to the Stone Age like President Trump talked about. So it's going to be at the timing and at the correct timing of the U.S. military. Now, CENTCOM, who's running this show, and the entire military, if you look at the entire military, only 10% of the U.S. military is going after these savages, right? These deep state savages. So the U.S. military that was built and used by the deep state for a long time is now turning against its creator, right? And so we've only used 10% of our military to basically kill the savages, right? Now, I don't know what's going to happen to the city of London, but somehow that place has to be bleeded. It has to be bled because they're bleeding, pedophile and adrenochromine right now, probably. So at some point, that bloodletting has to happen there. And I don't know how that's going to happen, but it's going to happen.
Supposed to be the big win. Of course, the Strait of Hormuz was open before the war started, so getting something that we already had before the war started isn't really a win of any kind whatsoever. But now, literally a half a day later, simply one night later, the Strait of Hormuz, the Iranians are saying, will be closed until the bombing attacks in Israel are over. Now, I want to put this up on, the bombing attacks by Israel in Lebanon are over. Now, we know that an Iranian oil facility was also blown up this morning. Again, after the ceasefire was announced.
So there you go. That's a UAE Air Force Mirage 2009 fighter, which bombed the Iranian refinery plant in the island of Levant after the announced ceasefire. So they didn't start it, Iran started it, and then UAE struck back. Was this planned that the U.S. would step back so that it would give a reasoning, an excuse for some of the other Middle Eastern targeted countries to start their own strikes and get in on the game? Very well could be. So very interesting how this is starting to move in a little bit more of an escalation to really take out Iran. All right, one more from David Hookstead. Does a great job. I check his information out. He's always posting.
This is footage of an attack, a large-scale attack that took place on Iranian-backed militias in Iraq. You can hear a variety of different weapons. You can hear gunfire on the ground, explosions. Looks like there's a rocket in the air. Heavy gunfire on the ground, likely trying to shoot a U.S.
We're basically, again, it's only 10%. This is not deep state activity military, which I can tell you would make this go on for on and on and on and on. This is basically coming in and finally going after the heart of this beast, the heart of this savage monster, right? So this is going to be eliminated, but its octopus arms have to be eliminated as well, right? So we've been fighting, the United States, and used to be some NATO countries, but not now. So I say we pull out of all the NATO, or at least pull out of those places where they won't let us utilize our bases. All right. So there's I think Spain, Italy, maybe France. As you heard, France made a deal to free 2 of its captive soldiers or whatever that were there. Probably some I don't know, Foreign Legion guys. So they basically promised that they wouldn't let America use its bases. So all those countries that have done that, we should pull completely out of those countries tomorrow, right? Make an example. We don't have to pull out of all of NATO, just the ones that have been extreme assholes like France, Italy, and Spain, right? And maybe there's another one out there that I'm not aware of, but if they've gone full asshole, pull all our troops out, because we're basically paying to protect them, right? We're paying to protect them. You and I, we are paying to protect these asshole countries. Bullshit, right? Call your congressman and say, get the hell out of those countries that are not allowing us to go after these savages that are in Iran, so we can stop all this bullshit. So Iran shutters Strait of Hormuz again after accusing Israel, like you heard from one gentleman, because of Hezbollah. The president said, according to Landers, they were not included in the deal. This is the president talking to Liz Landers, right? Donald Trump. When questioned about the Lebanon ceasefire status, because I guess Iran, part of their deal was you're going to not going to take out some of our octopus arms, right? And Trump is like, bullshit, right? Obviously Israel, who is our ally, and taking down the deep state little octopus, is helping us do that. So Landers then reportedly asked Trump whether he was okay with Israel continuing their strikes, to which the president said that it was part of the deal, before hanging up after being asked about his threat against Iran civilization. So, wise ass, deep state, corrupt media, trying to put President Trump in a situation, and he's just like, I'm out. Trump did tell the New York Post that in-person talks with Iran would happen very soon, though he did not offer a specific time, and said that Vice President J.D. Vance might not attend due to security concerns. Right? So Lebanon criticized, of course they would, Israel's attack on X, calling the strikes barbaric. Right? Of course, they're savages, calling their savagery being taken down as barbaric. Right? So this is what they do. And then the liberal deep state press will pick that up and go, look, they're so barbaric, and stating that it proved Israel demonstrated their contempt for all international laws and norms. So it's okay for the Iran-backed terrorist to shoot missiles, which started this, into Israel. But Israel can't come and do the same thing and take out where all these missiles are located. That's against all international laws and norms, right? No. Shut up. Right? So, I mean, yeah, you can have opinion, but if your opinion's stupid, we're going to call it stupid, right? So it's a stupid opinion. Anyway, we have to be very careful with this, guys, with these some influencers that are out there that are exposing themselves, right? I call them MAGA infiltrators, right? Infiltrators that have been playing us for quite some time. And I'm going to talk about that here in a second. Now, let's look at marine traffic in that area, just so we can see, well, maybe there's ships moving. Maybe this is all, disinformation. Well, if we, kind of zoom in on the Strait of Hormuz, looks to me like there's no ships going around the strait right there, right? So a lot of ships that are still waiting to go. Now, this is basically, let's take some of these shipyards and ports out. These are all vessels that are out here, all right? There's a lot more. This is just showing a few. There's marinetraffic.org. You can go into these and you'll see thousands of ships on either side of the Strait of Hormuz and nothing in here moving, right? Because Iran said, you can't do that, right? And these ships and these crews and these captains and these shipping companies don't want to lose, millions and millions of dollars worth of, crude oil or, other stuff that they're carrying back and forth through that strait. Because a lot of those countries are hurting right now because they depend on the shipping to come in and offload tons of supplies, which hasn't been happening for almost a month now, probably over a month. All right. So let's go into these MAGA infiltrators. I've been kind of talking about this for a little while. And so I was like, well, we'll just let people, figure it out for themselves. All right. So here you go. All right. Tucker, he grew up in a Democrat family pretty much. And they're kind of hippies, they didn't like war and so forth. And he's kind of, showing that side of himself, but he's gone full retard, in my opinion. Tucker Carlson urges U.S. officials to defy Trump on Iran orders. Say no, absolutely not. Right. Now, if he was in the U.S. government, that would be treasonous, right? Now, if we heard this from the lamestream press, it would be like, yep, that's part of what they do. And because they're the deep state. So what excuse does Tucker have now? Because I believe that Tucker is a MAGA infiltrator, right? Carlson comments come after the U.S. and Israel's aggressive bombing of Iran. And So Tucker Carlson says Trump is considering to use nukes against Iran. Did somebody inform you that? Or did somebody give you talking points like the CIA, which is he's already revealed that the, CIA has, has interactions with him over time. So he publicly urges the U.S. military and Pentagon officials to actively defy Donald Trump and refuse orders if he attempts to launch nuclear weapons against Iran.
It is the logic of escalation in this war because in some sense, Mark Levin is right. We are not going to open the straits with the United States Marine Corps, the 82nd Airborne, or the Tier 1 operators that everyone on cable news seems to know so much about. The Tier 1 operators, Tier 1. Just guys, like some of the best guys actually in America could be killed in this. That's a better way to put it. It's a more real way to put it. They are not going to open the strait. And so unless somebody puts the brakes on right away, we're going to wind up in a place that we can't even imagine. Not just Iran, us and the rest of the world. And so that.
All right. So on the other side of this, are people still going to follow Tucker Carlson once he's proven to be complete bullshitter, right? And asshole? Probably, right? Probably. Because, some people just don't get it. They're going to follow these people until, I don't know, hell freezes over. So Denise DeSouza, a little frightening, but also exhilarating. It is important to recognize the people of Iran cowering under the tyranny of the mullahs for half a century support this. It is that twisted, brutish civilization that is imperiled, not the great civilization of ancient Persia. So it goes on to talk about that. So talks with Glenn Greenwald. A lot of these guys have gone full retard, guys. Complete and utter full retard. It's pretty sad. Pretty sad to see it. But it is what it is. All right. So here's another full retard exposure, Alex Jones. We've been exposing him for quite some time. And now he exposes himself, right? He goes full retard as well. So they're basically throwing themselves into the fire, right? So their deep state handlers are basically telling them, pull no punches, go full retard. It doesn't matter. We're your puppet master. You will do as you're told.
And the preachers around him act very demonic.
Jesus. Is that what really is under attack here? Maybe that's what's been under attack for a long time. Maybe our whole lifetime. Maybe almost everything we see is an attack on that faith. The one faith that is always attacked.
So he's basically saying that Trump is attacking Christianity almost as if he's some kind of demonic, Luciferian type.
Always and everywhere for 2,000 years. Many faiths have been attacked. Many religious people of different religions have been killed. What's been under attack for years? A long time. Maybe there's been only one sustained effort to exterminate a faith. Thing we see is an attack. Faith. Could that be part of it? The one faith that is it possible that the president sees this always and everywhere for geostrategic terms, in military terms, in economic terms, got to open the strait. Okay. Is it possible the president sees this in bigger terms?
And people go, Mr. Fuentes, there's too many of them. What are we going to do? I'm like, I told you not to vote for Trump. The Antichrist was on the ballot. They practically said, Antichrist 2024, Gog and Magog and Armageddon. Like, you voted for this.
All of them comparing him to Jesus, comparing the weapons officer shot down on the plane to Jesus. I mean, this is cult.
So he's basically talking about those of us that are MAGA supporters. So those of us that support Trump.
Stuff. And it is an Antichrist spirit. The Bible tells us many times there are many Antichrists and an Antichrist spirit. And I don't think Trump's a devil worshiper. I don't think he gets on his knees and prays to the devil. I think he's under a demonic spell. And the preachers around him act very demonic.
All right. So, in another, like a day or so ago, I was going to publish that, but I'm like, okay, let's see how far these guys go before I really pounce on them. He basically came out and said that same thing as Tucker Carlson said. So they must all be getting the same marching orders. He said that, people should disobey Trump as well. And he even went so far, he was with a guest. I don't know who his guest was, but his guest was like of the same opinion that people should tackle Trump and basically take him away and make him believe that he's still involved somewhere else. It was like very bizarre, right? So I've seen this type of stuff happen overseas, the Mockingbird media stuff. So it is going extreme retard, and it's probably going to go further until he basically wipes out all his audience, right? Because that's where they're taking this.
He's under a delusion that he's a savior. No, the Antichrist knows he's the Antichrist, but there are many that come in the form precursors of the Antichrist. Just like you have Abraham, and then you have David, then you have Jesus. It's the same repeat. Well, you have that with the Antichrist. But definitely this type of activity is ushering in Antichrist type behavior. The Iranians think they're triggering the return of the Mahdi, or the final Messiah. A bunch of sects of the Jews think that and say that everywhere. And the Christian evangelicals, the dispensationalists, believe that.
All right. So we're pretty much going full retard there with Alex Jones, guys. So it's up to you guys if you're still following, people like that, Tucker Carlson, several others out there that have gone, in my opinion, full retard. And that's probably because of their deep state puppet masters, right? Differing opinion. You can follow them if you want. It's just you're going down a dark road if you do. It's up to you. But again, we're going to see more and more of these people reveal themselves, as time goes on. And this is a no-go land, right? We're hearing from these people that are doing that. And how do you handle that? Turn them off. You don't follow them anymore. You don't support them anymore. All right. And if you see them somewhere, give them the thumbs down or, whatever. But these guys are obviously, given directions. I've been seeing it leaking through over time. Many of us have been, pointing it out. I don't really do it as much as I felt impelled to do in the beginning, because these people are going to have their followers, and their followers are going to attack you, and it's just not worth it, right? And who knows, maybe because I'm pointing this out, I'll probably get attacked by some of their followers. So, but I mean, you choose. That's kind of where I'm at right now. You decide if you want to follow that line, or just like me, I just kind of look at it and go, wow, how far out there are they going to go? Because I've seen this happen in a lot of times, a lot of places, right? Seen the same pattern, right? You get people like that. They get followings. They build up a following, and then they strike, right? So these guys are striking now. And I don't know, maybe Trump is already, because Trump, he's a master at hammering these people. I mean, I can't hammer him like he does. He's brilliant at it, right? So we probably, if he hasn't already, we're probably going to hear from Trump and say, this person. But he's got a job to do right now. He's got a job of taking down one of the most powerful at one time, most powerful deep state armies in the world that was built up over 47 years. And now it's been taken apart, all right? Very short order by the most powerful military in the world that was built by the deep state. Right? So we're using the deep state stuff. And of course, Israel, deep state. We're using Israel too. Yeah, we're supporting you. Yeah, go ahead and bomb Hezbollah. Go ahead and bomb Hamas. Go ahead and bomb Iran, right? We sent you the material. So they're doing the work of the good guys. Who knows? Who knows what's going to end, you know, where it's going to end. But, you know, I thought that, okay, maybe this is it. But I'm like, I don't think so. You know, like I've said, I've dealt with these savages, and like I keep saying, Tucker will make you believe that, you know, all the special forces guys are going to die, right? So I can tell you, there wasn't a lot of death when we went into Iraq, right? And we killed a lot of savages, right? It would blow you away how many savages the special forces guys killed, right? Same thing in Afghanistan, same thing in Pakistan, right? And very few deaths, of course. You know, the ones that did happen were coordinated and promoted and made possible by the deep state, unfortunately. And maybe they didn't happen, like Extortion 17, SEAL Team 6 Gold Squadron guys that went down Afghanistan, right? Did they all go down? Were they stopped out? I don't know. But I've had people that have said that they're still alive. I don't know. I talked about it early on, and I had some very interesting people that I used to work with in the SEAL teams contact me and dissuade me from talking about that. So I was like, okay, I'll leave that one alone for now. So we'll see. We'll see, guys. I think that the deep state, you know, in all its ways, throughout our military, throughout the militaries of, you know, Europe and so forth, because I think there's good guys that are in operations in a lot throughout Europe as well. So maybe, you know, we won't pull the NATO bases because we'll need them to basically take down the deep state in all those countries. I don't know. So, we're going to find out. We're going to find out, you know, just how deep down this rabbit hole we need to go to eliminate all the deep state. It could take years. Many of us talked about this for a while. It could take years, right? So, because think about that. Think about, you know, how these savages, you know, in the Middle East have infiltrated, not just in, you know, Palestine, not just in Lebanon, but also in Yemen and in Afghanistan and in Pakistan and so a lot of other places, guys. So they have to be eliminated. They have to be removed. They have to be plucked. It's going to take time, but it will happen. And hopefully within the next couple of years, because it makes it easier when you got somebody that, you know, has full backing of the good guy military as we're cleaning out the bad guys. Because they had to get rid of 20 more generals, and I don't know, maybe some admirals too, just recently from the military roles, right? Pete Hegseth. And so where do they come from? They were put in there during the 4 years that Biden was there, guys, right? And they have to be removed. All right. Lots of love. Stay in the love vibration. We're going to see this thing, you know, play out, how it's going to play out. But we win. We will win. We always win. And it doesn't matter what Tucker Carlson or Alex Jones say, we will win. And Trump is not the Antichrist. So, all right. Lots of love. Stay in love, vibration. We'll see you guys next time.